पठेत् कोटिजन्म कृतं पापं स्मरणेन विनश्यति। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा।
Very nice, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thanks for the nice speech.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Deepti Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful kirtan. Thank you. Let's begin with our prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namostute Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for joining, everyone. Welcome. So today we are going to learn about Matsya Avatar. Okay. Matsya Avatar, the Lord's first incarnation. Matsya Avatar, it was a very great fish. So it is one of the 10 original incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Why did Krishna manifest in Matsya incarnation? Because he is eternally situated in this transcendental position. In spite of that, yet he descends to this material world and manifests himself. We don't say he took birth as fish. So he manifests, he incarnates himself like this, in various incarnations. He's all powerful, yet he had to come like this, a very uncommon fish, in the form of a fish. And the fish's body is kind of abominable in the sense, Bhagavatam says, the form of a fish is condemned. Why? Because material body itself gives us a lot of pain. So fish also goes through certain terrible pain, So once we enter into this world in some body, we go through some pain. But why did, just like an ordinary living entity, he had to come here, though he was all transcendental? So the answer is in Bhagavatam. It says, just like how he appeared when Prahlad Maharaj, said he is very much present in this pillar. So he was pleased, Prahlad. Like that, he appears to favor his favorite devotee. It is to please the devotee. That's why he appears. Otherwise, any kind of pralaya or anything, it is not a very big thing for the Lord. Like whether it is Kamsa or some other demon, removing them from the world, this material world, is not a very big thing. He appears to please his devotees. So let's see why he had to come and how many times he appeared in the form of a fish. So, Mataji, do you know how to sing this one?
No, Mataji.
It goes like this. Pralaya payodi jale dritavan asivedam vihitavahetra charitram akedam keshavadrita meena sharira jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare. Mataji, would you like to read, Mataji?
Okay, Mataji. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a fish, all glories to you. You easily acted as a boat in the form of a giant fish just to give protection to the Vedas, which had become immersed in the turbulent sea of devastation. Shall I continue, Mataji, the lower one?
Yeah, there is one description. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
For the sake of protecting the cows, brahmanas, demigods, devotees, the Vedic literature, religious principles, and principles to fulfill the purpose of life, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts the forms of incarnations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So again, the reason is given here in 8th canto. It says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he appears in various types of incarnations to give protection to the cows and brahmanas, to benefit the cows and brahmanas. And he himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha vishkuta dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So there is a purpose behind this. And Lord Krishna, he personally showed us how to protect cows, how to worship brahmanas. When Sudama, visited him, he showed him lot of respect. He showed human society how to give protection. It is very, very important to protect the cows, because if we cannot maintain cows, we cannot maintain Brahminical culture. And if we cannot protect these religious principles, then there is no fulfillment of the aim of our life. The goal of our life is to, self-realization. Human birth itself is very rare. In that, if we have come in touch with Krishna consciousness, that shows, this is very, very special. So, if we do not protect the cows, do not protect Brahminical culture, then, definitely there is nothing. The goal of life is to understand that we are not this body, starts from there, not this body, we are spirit souls. And then there is the relationship we have with the Lord, and then we have to go back to Godhead. All this is not going to happen if you cannot protect the cows and brahmanas. So the Lord appears. So he teaches us by his own example. Now, Matsya, the Lord's first fish incarnation. Though he appears like this, see, such a big fish it was, huge one. Another explanation is also given, says, just like air goes through different, places, like it passes through a garden, and then, the air becomes fragrant and goes to some kind of dirty, filthy place, and it has some other odor, dirty odor. So like that, air goes through different places, but it stays how it is, original. It's just like that. The Lord appears like this, but he is all transcendental. He is the supreme controller. He is not under the control of the three modes of material nature. Maya cannot touch him within this material world, even though he is in this atmosphere, in this form, nothing can, he is the controller. He is beyond the material modes. So we have to understand that, because he himself says that Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Se Characharam. Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti. He is saying, and one more thing, what he says is, we living entities, we in this material world, are actually, under the control of the three modes of material nature. And it's not easy to come out of this. We are getting entangled again and again. We're not coming out of this so easily. The only way we can actually come out of this material bondage is only by taking shelter of the Lord. So he says, you have to, if you surrender unto me, I'll take you out of this mess. So that's what happens here. He appears twice, and now let's understand how. So there are two incarnations of fish. The Lord appeared as one fish incarnation to save the Vedas by killing Hayagriva. And he assumed the other fish incarnation to show favor to King Satyavrata. So he expands himself by Swamsha. His personal expansions are called Swamsha, and Vibhinamsha is like expansions of the living entities. So we are not equal to the Lord. So we are all living entities, Vibhinamsha. This is all personal expansions of the Lord. So let's see here. Mataji, would you like to read this? Hare Krishna. Who would like to read this one? If Dipti Mataji is okay with it, fine. Or someone else also, please participate. Sarvagnya, would you like to read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is the
Hare
story of how the Lord was incarnated as a fish. This happened because once Lord Brahma lost the Vedas, which were stolen by an asura called Hayagriva, who lived at the bottom of the ocean. Since a fish is the best animal for living in the water, Krishna took the form of fish to get back the Vedas.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So at the end of one kalpa, what happened in the beginning of Swayambhuva Manu's period. What happened? This is what happened. Brahma was going to bed, and when he opened his mouth, the Vedas started, going out, and then this demon Hayagriva, he took all the Vedas and he lived under the ocean, deep in the depth of the ocean. So he took all the Vedas. Now the Lord has had to take them from him. So let's see how he did it. Okay. Can someone recite this one, please? Hare Krishna. Lakshita Mataji, Dipti Mataji, Lekha Mataji, Sujata Mataji is also there. Anybody else also can. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji, I'll try.
Yes, sir.
कलेनागत निद्रस्य धातु शीश ईश्वरबलि मुखतो निःसृतान् वेदान् हयग्रीवो अंतिके aharat. At the end of Brahma's day, when Brahma felt sleepy and decided to lie down, the Vedas were emanating from his mouth, and a great demon named Hayagriva stole the Vedic knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, when you are very sleepy, you want to lie down, he has a very long day. Brahma's day is very long. It's not like ours. So he opened his mouth by yawning, and then it's all went out. So, how about this one? Can someone recite this one? Hare Krishna. I'll recite otherwise. Anybody can volunteer for this. Sujata Mataji, you also can try Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll recite. You can read. ज्ञात्वा तद्दानवेन्द्रस्य हयग्रीवस्य चेष्टितम् दधार शबरीरूपम् Bhagavan हरिरीश्वरः. Would you like to read the translation, Mataji?
Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, Sarvagnya was. Okay, sure. Go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Understanding the acts of the great demon Hayagriva, the supreme personality of Godhead, Hari, who is full of all opulences, assumed the form of a fish and saved the Vedas by killing the demon. Hare Krishna.
He'd taken it to the depth of the ocean, so he had to. The fish body is very suitable for, to fight in the ocean and just get the Vedas back. That's what he did. Why do we take fish birth? Why do we take different bodies? To get a human birth, they say 84 lakh species of, types of bodies we have to change. And it's very, very difficult to get this human body. And there is this Srimad Bhagavatam for these verses. It says how a living entity is covered by this, the different degrees of covering, consciousness is obscured by these different degrees of covering, which is nothing but lust. There are 3 examples, analogies given, like fire covered by smoke, and then there is a mirror covered by dust, and this another analogy is where the embryo is covered by the womb, like this. And the analogy is like for the fire, what happened in the human body, it is possible to actually, that we have a little spark in us. A little spark is perceived, which can exhibit, a living entity can exhibit Krishna consciousness. If by chance we get in touch with a spiritual master or pure devotees, this spark can become ablaze. It can really take us to Krishna consciousness and take her to higher transcendental platform. And when a mirror is covered by dust, that is like the cleansing process of the mirror of the mind. So that is covered compared to beasts and birds. And embryo covered by womb, that analogy is given for plants, trees. These trees, they can't really do much. They're helpless. Like how a child is helpless in the womb, trees are also very helpless. See, in human body, we can walk to the temple, study Bhagavad Gita, sing Kirtan. We can do so many things. We can offer some service, do devotional service, hear, chant. So many things you can do. We have, this body gives us all that different facilities. But animals and plants, they have to go through so much struggle. So that is why we take a fish form or plant form or whatever, but Lord is not like that. Okay, now this is just an image to show how he killed the demon Hayagriva, and then the Vedas were restored back. Because Brahma needs those. When he wakes up in the morning, he needs all the instructions to, again, there's a pralaya. When he sleeps, there's pralaya. Morning again, when he wakes up, he starts his work. So this is second time he appeared as, again, Matsya. Why did he appear? We'll understand. And what happened? Can someone recite this one, please? Hare Krishna. And also read the translation.
I'll try, Mataji.
Yes, Mother.
Ekada Kritamalayam Purvato Jalatarpanam Tasyanjali Udake Kache Chapari Ekabhyapadyata. There once lived a king named Satyavrata. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu and daily worshipped him. One day, when he was doing his daily worship, a tiny fish seemed to get caught in his water pot. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So this Satyavrata king was it's a great pious ruler. He was a devotee of the Lord. So what happened? This happened during the reign of Chakshusha Manu. And to receive the favor of the Lord, he used to do austerity also. He used to just drink water. That's what 8th canto says. 8.24, 24th chapter. It says, he used to drink water. He used to subsist only on by drinking water sometimes. He used to do all those kind of austerities. And then now Lord is actually showing favor. So what happened? This person, when he went to the river body, let's see in the next slide, it becomes clearer. See. Once he was performing austerity on the bank of the river Kritamala, it says. Such a beautiful name, Kritamala river. He was offering oblations with his palm. He took water with the palm of his hand and he found a small fish in his hand, in the palm. So he put the fish back again into the water. Next time again he picked up, took water in his palm. Again the fish was there. So this time the fish, it was happening repeatedly. So he was wondering what's going on here. And the fish appealed. Can someone read this? Let's see what the fish is saying. Sarvagnya, your hand is raised. Do you want to read? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. With an appealing voice, the poor small fish said to King Satyavrata, who was very merciful, my dear king, protector of the poor, why are you throwing the water of the river where there are other aquatics who can kill me? I am very much afraid of them. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So the fish is appealing to the king for protection. He's asking, please help me and, give me shelter. So the king actually, Prabhupada says, a king is supposed to protect everybody in the kingdom, not just human beings. Today we are all citizens. So Prabhupada says, aren't animals citizens? Aren't they dependent on us for protection? We just slaughter them and eat them. Aren't birds citizens? They are not citizens. We consider only human beings as important. So that's not how it was. This king, he took it as his duty to protect the fish. This is called Agnata Sukriti. he did not know that was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God himself is speaking. Out of his own mercy, unknowingly, with great pleasure, he took the fish, he put the fish in a little jar, and he, actually this is service he's doing. This is nothing but devotional service. Agnata Sukruti, in the sense, unknowingly doing something for the Lord. Like Krishna says, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo Navidyate Swalpam Apresya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Swalpam Apresya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Means even a little, whatever endeavor we do in devotional service, even a little service goes a long way. There is no loss. Krishna will definitely reciprocate. There is always advancement on this path of, Krishna consciousness. So there is no loss at all. Now he did this, and the Lord is going to save him from the greatest danger. So Krishna himself says, in this path, if you serve me a little bit also, even if you offer patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, anything, offer him, just think about him. Then he can protect us from the most dangerous type of fear. So that's what is going to happen. Now let's see what he does, Krishna. So can someone recite this one, please? Hare Krishna. Sujata Mataji, can you recite, Mataji? Is it possible? I think she's busy. I'm not sure. Dipti Mataji?
Okay, Mataji. Satu tatreka ratrena vardhamana kamandalo palavvatma vakasham va idam aha mahipatam. But in one night, that fish grew so much that he could not move his body comfortably in the water of the pot. He then spoke to the king as follows. Hare Krishna.
The fish, what happened? It showed its potency. It expanded so much, his body was so big that he could not fit in that jug of water anymore. So now the king has to move the fish out of the jug. So another verse. Would like to recite this one? Lakshita Mataji, do you want to try?
Yes, Mataji. Naham kamandalavaस्मिन् कृच्छं वस्तुं मिहोत्सहे कल्पयौका सुविपुलं यत्राहं निवसे सुखम्. O my dear king, I do not like living in this water pot with such great difficulty. Therefore, please find some better reservoir of water where I can live comfortably.
Hare Krishna. So what does the king do now? One more. Yes, Mataji, would you like to recite this one also?
स एनां तथादाय न्यधाद् औदञ्चनोदके तत्र क्षिप्ता मुहूर्तेन हस्तत्रयम् अवर्धत. Then, taking the fish out of the water pot, the king threw him in a large well. But within a moment, the fish developed due to the length of the 3 cubits. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So what happened in the well also, the well was too small for the fish. There also he expanded his body. So next, let's see what he does. Yes, Mataji. Would you like to recite? Or if someone else also wants to recite, it's fine. Please raise your hand.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Tata adaya sarajna क्षिप्ता राजन् सरोवरे तद् अव्रत्यत् मनसोऽयं महामिनो nvavardata. O Maharaja Parikshit, the king took the fish from the well and threw him in a lake. But the fish then assumed a gigantic form, exceeding the extent of the water. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So the entire Bhagavatam is in the form of dialogue. So here Parikshit Maharaj asked that question. He says, why did the Lord have to appear as a fish? Can you tell me why? So that's why, Shukmuni is, when he's answering, he says, oh Maharaj Parikshit, this is what happened. And then he put him in a lake now. And that lake also was unsuitable for this fish now. Such a big body. Now this one. Please recite this one, Hare Krishna. Sadhya, do you want to try? Okay, go ahead, Mataji. Yes.
Iti ukta sonayan matsyam tatra tatra vidasini jalasaye samittam tam samudre prakshipajhasam. King Satyavrata took the fish to the largest reservoir of water. But when that also proved insufficient, the king at last threw the gigantic fish into the ocean. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Finally, the king put the fish in the sea. But even the sea could not accommodate him. That's what Bhagavatam says. Then let's see now. See here. Yes, Mataji. Do you want to recite? Who else? Vinda Mataji, if you want to recite, it's fine.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Nuna tvam bhagavan sakshad dharir narayano vyayaha anugrahaya buddhatanam bhutanam datse rupam jalauskasham. My Lord, you are certainly the inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, Sri Hari. It is to show your mercy to the living entities that you have now assumed the form of an aquatic. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Now, in one day, he has expanded into hundreds of miles, covering the river and then the ocean. And now the king says in 24.26, he says, "Oh, my lord," he says, "this is not an ordinary animal. I've never seen any animal like this." He says, "Who are you? Think must be Hari only. He must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead." He says, "I've never seen an aquatic animal this huge." So he asks, "Can you please reveal yourself?" And he requests, see here, the image is so beautiful. He requests the Lord to describe everything and why he has appeared like this and what is the purpose and what are we supposed to do now. So can someone read this one? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. May I?
Yes, Mataji.
The Lord replied, In 7 days the world will be plunged into the great flood of devastation. A large boat will come to you then. Now collect all the herbs, plants, seeds, trees, and all kinds of animals. Take them and the 7 rishis with you into the boat. When the storms rock the boat, tie it up with the serpent Vasuki to my horn. Do not be afraid. I will support the boat during the flood and will give you transcendental knowledge. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So the fish actually, Lord in the form of fish, he actually spoke. Bhagavatam says he spoke, and this is what he said. The king was very humble, it says. Very humble when he requested, "Can you please reveal yourself?" He was very humble and he said, "Within a week this is going to happen. There are going to be floods throughout the universe and I will protect you. You don't have to worry. You just collect all the rishis and herbs, seeds, all the living entities, few living entities into a boat, and then you have to attach the boat to the horn. A horn. The fish will have a horn. You attach it to that horn. And then I will save you. I will, throughout those 7 days, you're going to be safe on the boat." That's what he'll say. And then that's just like how he saved the Vedas. Now we're going to save all of this. And then after that, the fish disappears. And then the Lord disappeared. Then King Satyavrata understood. Now he has to just sit and wait for 7 days. What he does is he meditates upon the Lord. So here, his attitude, complete surrender and trust in what the Lord said. He said, "I'm going to protect you, just sit." Because we living entities are limited in our capacity. So he just sat and waited. Lord is going to appear. He's going to keep his word. So it says, the Bhagavatam in the puppet, it is given, this reference is given, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam, meaning the Lord is the prime eternal among all the eternal living entities. He is the one supreme living entity who is the maintainer. Everybody is maintained. He's the maintainer. We are all maintained. He's supremely conscious, not like us. So King understood that, and then he just sat and waited. Let's see what happens. Can someone read this, please? Hare Krishna. Sarvagna, your hand is raised. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji. After thus instructing the king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately disappeared. Then King Satyavrata began to wait for the time of which the Lord had instructed. Hare Krishna Mataji.
There is more also. Can you read everything? After spreading Kusha,
Okay. After spreading Kusha with its tips pointing east, the saintly king himself facing the northeast sat down on the grass and began to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who had assumed the form of fish.
okay, next. Thereafter, gigantic clouds pouring incessant water swelled the ocean more and more. Thus, the ocean began to overflow onto the land. So imagine this, overflow onto the land and inundate the entire world. Everywhere, water, water, water. How dangerous, how scary it must have been. Then see, let's see. See. Can you recite this one, Mataji? Dipti Mataji or Vandit, Vinda Mataji? Anybody?
Okay, Mataji. Lokyam Liyamanayam Samvartam Bhasi Vaitada Upasthasyati Naukachid Vishala Tvam Mayerita. When all the three worlds merge into the water, a large boat sent by me will appear before you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we have seen actually, sometimes it happens. We see in the news, some places are completely immersed in water, floods, and all this happens. And it looks very scary. And here, so in due course of time, just like how the fish said, the Lord said, annihilation took place, and the king saw a boat coming. So after they got onto the boat, getting aboard with learned brahmanas, saintly people, and herbs and all that, whatever the Lord had said, they went and sat peacefully, and they started offering prayers. The brahmanas actually guided the king also. They also said, offer prayers. So the Supreme Lord actually is situated in everyone's heart. He's guiding them from inside also. So now from the core of the heart also, he's guiding. Then what happens is, another thing the Lord says when he starts speaking to Satyavrata, he says, don't have, without moroseness, fearlessly sit. Be happy, sit with your companions, nothing is going to happen. I'll be there. And the only illumination, water, water everywhere, it's kind of dark also. The only illumination comes because of the effulgence of the rishis. All the great rishis who sit with you, they will be very effulgent. That will be the only light you will have. But don't be morose. So he actually, like a parent, he tells the king not to be afraid. Everything will be fine. Just trust in me. Very nicely. Say. Please recite this one, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. सोऽनुद्यातस्ततो रजना प्रदुराशिन्महर्नवे एकाक्षृङ्गाधरो मत्स्यो हैमो नियुता योजनाः. Then, while the king constantly meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a large golden fish appeared in the ocean of inundation. The fish had one horn and was 8 million miles long. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. 8 billion miles long. That's a really huge fish. It's a golden color one. So it has a horn also, just like how he had said. So just like, whatever he heard, as per the instructions given by the Lord, the king anchored the boat to the fish's horn using the serpent Vasuki. He uses serpent Vasuki as a rope to tie the boat to this horn. And then again, they start offering prayers. Please recite this one and read. Hare Krishna. Who would like to try?
I'll try, Mataji.
Okay.
Dodhuyamanam tam navam samirena baliyasa upasthitasya me shringe nibadnihi maha Hina. Then, as the boat is tossed about by the powerful winds, attach the vessel to my horn by means of the great serpent Vasuki, for I shall be present by your side. Hare Krishna.
Also, he said, I'll pull the boat with you all on it. I'm going to pull the boat and we'll travel on this water of devastation until the night of Lord Brahma's slumber is over. But the thing is, in the purport, it is very clearly, all the acharyas have given a very nice explanation. It says, this particular devastation did not happen in the night of Brahma. The previous one, he was about to sleep. It was night. But here, this was during the day of Brahma, it happened, because Chakshusha Manu appears during the day only. So what happened was, Brahma was sleepy for some time. That's when this happened. So the Lord actually wanted to show Satyavrata by his own illusory energy the effects of devastation. And this all happened because of the Lord's will. And then when the short period was over, that was 7 days for us. We was just sleepy for some time. When you're working, sometimes it happens, you feel sleepy. So that's what had happened to Brahma, that's all. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and all these others have said this. Then they traveled on this boat. Lord kept them safe, and he also kept speaking to them. Can you read this one, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Whoever wants to read, it's fine.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Satyavrata did as he was told. In 7 days, the flood started. There were terrific storms, and the clouds poured water down on the earth. You could no longer see the earth or heaven. All was water. The king and the 7 sages sat in the boat in deep meditation. But the Lord had said, You will be thoroughly advised and favored by me, and because of your inquiries, everything about my glories, which are known as Param Brahma, will be manifest within your heart. Thus you will know everything about me.
Hare Krishna. So the Lord is saying, you will know everything about me. They just have to sit tight and just wait for this period to be over. So this shloka is there in Bhagavad Gita. It says, Sarvasya chaham vidhi sannivishto matta smriti vijnanam apohanam cha vedaishu sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham. He says, I am situated in your heart. I will guide you. So same way, he's doing this. He is the one who gives us remembrance also. He is the one who makes us forget things also. Forgetfulness, knowledge, remembrance, everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. So these people are completely surrendered souls. So if we surrender to the Lord, this is what will happen. Like a parent says, tell the child, you listen to me. I will, take you across the street. Just hold my hand. Please cooperate with me, The parent says that. Directly or indirectly, we are under the control of the Lord. We are listening to Him. People who are surrendered, they are favored like this, very nicely. Those who are not surrendered, or if they are demoniac or atheists, they also meet the Lord. They are also under His control only. They meet Him as death. That's what Bhagavatam says. One who is surrendered, he's very fearless. Like those people who are on this boat, they're fearless right now because they know the fish is in control. It's not an ordinary fish. It's going to find everything will be fine. But those who are not, they'll be in so much anxiety. They'll cry and weep and howl. A little cut also, people scream and cry. Like that, they will be in so much anxiety. But surrendered souls are not in anxiety. That explanation is also given in Bhagavatam. So he says, Mamaivaya prapadyante mayametam tarantite. I will, help you. So everybody is finally under his control and under his shelter only. Please read this one, Hare Krishna. Sarvagnya, do you want to read?
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. O Supreme Lord, for self-realization, I surrender unto you, who are worshipped by the demigods as the supreme controller of everything. By your instructions, exposing life purpose, kindly cut the knot from the core of my heart and let me know the destination of my life. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. This is how a surrendered soul speaks. Where do we get enlightenment from? How do we get? It says in this purport, Prabhupada is saying this. From whom do you get enlightenment from? regarding the destination of life. What is the goal of life? Where are we going after death? Why are we here? Everything, where do we get this knowledge, information, enlightenment? We have to approach the right personality. We need a proper person who can help us. That is none other than the spiritual master. In this case, it is very clear that the Lord himself is the original spiritual master. If he is guiding us from inside, sometimes he appears, he sends his own representatives in the form of spiritual masters who give us complete directions. We have this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all the scriptures, and we can, just by reading this, we'll never understand anything. That is all Prabhupada's mercy, by hearing him, by following his instructions, we are actually able to understand all this. So that's how it is. A spiritual master actually helps us to understand, and he's asking the right questions. So how do we ask? That also Bhagavad Gita says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam jnaninas tatpadarshinaha. Approach the spiritual master in a very submissive way with humility. Then he is a self-realized soul who will impart knowledge, will actually help us also to see the truth, and he'll help us sail through all these miseries, and he'll take us out, because Krishna knows we are suffering. This world is a place it's designed like that. We come here only to suffer for our sins. So that is a design, it is not a flaw. We come here so that we purify ourselves, go through all the different sinful reactions. Then when we are actually ready, he'll take us back. So he's asking the Lord the right questions, and the fish also starts answering. He gives him a lot of instructions. Can someone read this, please? Hare Krishna.
I'll read, Mataji.
Okay.
King Satyavrata prayed, O Lord, just as gold loses its impurities when it comes into contact with fire, so the living being loses his ignorance when he worships you. Please give me knowledge of you and cut the ignorance from my heart. And as Satyavrata listened, the Supreme Lord gave him spiritual knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. The more a person surrenders, the more the Lord will start revealing himself. The degree of surrender is very important. So here, the Lord starts revealing. And then the complete knowledge about himself, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, all this is revealed to the pure devotees. Because it is like the process is so purifying. He purifies. He's the supreme purifier. That's what is given, in the purport. That the Lord is a supreme purifier. The moment we take his shelter out of compassion, he will actually, like a shining lamp of knowledge that is there, right? In the 10th canto, that 4 Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, that one of the shlokas, it says, Tesham evanu kampartham aham agnana jantamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Out of compassion for the surrendered soul, I, dwelling in their hearts, will remove the ignorance. Just like when there is light, there is no darkness. So when there is knowledge, there is no ignorance. So he says, I actually help such a person. So it is our efforts. If we are surrendered, if we are, following the rules and regulations and all the instructions given by the spiritual master, then definitely we will make progress. The Lord will reveal himself. Hare Krishna. Can someone read this? Sarvagnya, yes.
The king said, By the grace of the Lord, those who have lost their self knowledge since time immemorial and who, because of this ignorance, are involved in a material conditional life full of miseries, obtain the chance to meet the Lord's devotee. I accept that Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Spiritual Master.
Hare Krishna. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains very beautifully, the representative of the Lord. He may appear as an ordinary human being, but we should not mistake. They are here only to guide us. Okay, they are executing the Lord's order. Their Guru is giving them instructions that is coming from Krishna directly. So we should never neglect them, make use of our association, and make sure we actually, make some progress in our spiritual life. Otherwise, the human birth itself is a waste. That's what it says. There's no difference between the spiritual master and the Lord himself. We have to treat the spiritual master like that with a lot of respect and, give him the same place as the Lord himself. Can someone recite this one, please? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Purana samhitam divyam sankhya yoga kriyavatim satyavratasya rajarser atma guhyam ase sataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thus explained to King Satyavrata the spiritual science known as Sankhya Yoga, the science by which one distinguishes between matter and spirit, in other words, Bhakti Yoga, along with the instructions contained in the Puranas, the old histories, and the Samhitas. The Lord explained himself in all these literatures. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. While they were traveling in that boat, the Lord gave them all these instructions. He spoke about Sankhya Yoga, and also he gave them the secret of the secret knowledge, devotional service. So we may, just by mental speculation or philosophical studies, we can understand, oh, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. But we can never, attain the goal of our life without devotional service. And without a guru, it's not going to happen. So, and a guru also cannot become a guru unless, he does not know who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. There are a lot of fake gurus. Prabhupada explains that in this particular canto. He's saying there are fake gurus in the sense, materialistic gurus who are for material profit misguiding people. They'll say, you do this much exercise, you take this mantra, you will become, you'll maintain, you'll be fit, your body will be fit, you will get so much money, you materialistically you will progress. So, and then they'll say you can enjoy more. So this is nothing but sense gratification. Where is spiritual knowledge there? So people fall for that. They are being misguided. It's like a person is already blind and he is listening to another blind person. So one blind man leading another blind man. So, all of them are going to fall. So that's our purpose. Be very careful. It's very important to hear from the perfect authority who is coming from Guru Parampara. That's very important. Hare Krishna. Can someone recite this one?
Hare Krishna. आस्रवसि ऋषिभिः साकम् आत्मतत्त्वम् असंशयम् नावे आसीन भगवता प्रोक्तं ब्रह्म सनातनम्. While sitting in the boat, King Satyavrat, accompanied by the great saintly persons, listened to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in regard to self-realization. These instructions were all from the eternal Vedic literature, Brahma. Thus, the king and sages had no doubt about the absolute truth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada explains, see, he says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matas Sarvam Pravartate. So, people are running to demigods, devatas for, materialistic benedictions. So, Prabhupada is saying, he's the gold, all the gold mines, everything, all the gold mines in the world, they also emanated from Krishna. We are just running to one magician and say, can you give me a small portion of gold? Whereas Krishna is the origin of everything. Why can't we take shelter of him? That is just foolishness. Like Krishna himself says, there are some people who are not so intelligent. They worship all these devatas for temporary gains. It is all temporary only. Ultimately, because Vishnu will not give anything temporary. If a person approaches Vishnu directly, he will give him such a boon that that person will not go back and ask for anything material like ever again. So Vishnu is like that. That is also explained by Prabhupada very beautifully. So, an intelligent person will take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. We already almost reached the end of this chapter. 2 more slides are there. Can someone recite this one? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, should I try?
Yes, Mataji, sure. Hare Krishna.
Satyavratasya rajaschet maya matsyasya shringinah. Sorry, what's that? Shringinah.
Shanginaha.
Shringinah. Samavedam mahat आख्यानां श्रुत्वा मुच्येत किल्बिषत्.
Samvadam. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
संवादं महद् आख्यानं श्रुत्वा मुच्येत किल्बिषत्.
Yes, okay.
This story concerning the great king Satyavrata and the fish incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is a great transcendental narration. Anyone who hears it is delivered from the reactions of the sinful life.
Hare Krishna. For each of these incarnations, next we'll do Kurma Avatar, and there is Narasimha Avatar, and all this Bali Maharaj, Vaman Dev is there. All these different pastimes and incarnations, one after another, when we read, for each of these, if we hear, we'll be free from the reactions of sinful life. These are all, very, very beneficial for us. So hearing them, just hearing them, imagine, we don't have to do anything, just hear the pastimes, hear about these incarnations, and we'll gain so much out of this. So now King Satyavrata was illuminated with all the Vedic knowledge, everything. This is all because of the mercy of the Lord. And then what happened? Then after this, he became Vaivasvat Manu. He was born as a son of sun god. So because in this Vivaswan's son, Vaivasvat. That's why it's called Vaivasvat. Vivaswan's son. We see this in Bhagavad Gita also, right? Vivaswan Manave Prahu. So the sun god spoke the signs of Bhagavad Gita to his son Manu. And since he was son of Vivaswan Manu, Vivaswan is called Vaivasvat Manu. So that's what happened to Satyavrata. So he became Vaivasvat Manu. Satyavrata became Vaivasvat Manu. All this is because of the Lord's mercy. Please recite this one, Hare Krishna.
Hare
This is the last slide. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Avataram hariryoyam kirtayedanvaham naraha sankalpastasya siddhyanti sayati paramam gatim. One who narrates this description of the Matsya incarnation and King Satyavrata will certainly have all his ambitions fulfilled, and he will undoubtedly return home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So in the end of every chapter, we'll have this. What happens if you hear and what happens if you narrate it to somebody else? You will definitely the Lord is definitely going to bless us. So that is there. So out of foolishness, people do not take instructions from the Lord. Then from externally and internally, both, the Lord is guiding us, but we don't, make use of all them. So it's very important to hear from the Lord, Lord's representatives, be in the association of devotees. Then we can fulfill the ultimate goal of our life. So the secret is devotional service to the Lord. Only then we'll get proper instructions on how to go back home, back to Godhead, and enjoy spiritual life. So that is the only way, because spiritual life is full of spiritual joy, which cannot compare to what we experience in this material world. So that has so much spiritual variegatedness, and there is so much joy, transcendental. So that is how it is going to be if we actually, reach the Lord's lotus feet. We can enjoy, just like how all is in very close devotees enjoy his association. We can also get the same benefits if we are ready to accept his instructions. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama
Thanks a
Hare Hare.
lot.